the Honda, according to my insurance, CB900F, because that is the American version. It's a Japanese market Honda. We called it the 919 Hornet. It's a 919 cc's, and it's the build off of the original Honda Hornet, which was in the 70s and 80s. So it was a carbureted version. It was air-cooled. The current model was 2002 to 2007. And they took the engine, the inline four liquid cooled, out of the CBR900RR, which was at the time one of the fastest street bikes ever designed, and the father to the CBR1000RR, which is the Fireblade that they race in like MotoGP races. Someone had before me laid it down and scratched the heck out of the cylinder, so it got these to try to prevent that. So if you do ever lay it down, this peg and the handlebar and the lever is what holds it up rather than the tank. Well, it'll go extremely fast. It'll corner extremely fast. It's also a wide, soft, thick, comfortable seat, and it's easy for passengers. The exhaust is right up where their legs are, but there's double baffling, and when I run it later, I'll show you, if you hold your hand on it, it's almost always cold. So if you run it hard enough and it's cold outside, it'll warm your legs up. The other nice thing is if it's really cold, I just tuck my feet under here, and the amount of hot air that blows off the engine is absurd. And I can also just tuck my hands in here. And it's easy to do that because it has a throttle lock on it, which is like $10 off of Amazon. So you pull the throttle up where you want it and you put the lock on and it holds it, which is great. So you can tuck your hands in and keep them warm. The only issue with that, and I always warn people, if you just grab the front brake, it adds power and it doesn't automatically unwind. So you have to manually release and then hit the brakes.
That's good to know. It's
really handy to know. The other thing that kind of bothers me about it is it doesn't have automatic turn signals, which is sad. A lot of the newer Hondas have them. It doesn't actually have heated hand grips. They make an OEM add-on that it's going to get. It just runs a tender to the battery, and then it has heated hand grips. So it's going to need that. And the lights are so dim. So it's really, really easy to outrun the headlight at night because even with the high beam on, it's just very dim. It also, if you look, doesn't have a fuel gauge. So it's like the cafe racer kind of cluster. So you have a speedometer, all your warning lights, a tach, and then a water temp gauge. And I've never seen it get any higher than the dot at the bottom of the safe arc. I've never seen it be higher than that when it's running. If it sits, it'll get halfway up to the red. But if it's running and moving, I've never seen it get anywhere beyond the lowest possible temperature that it'll allow and still be safe. The other nice thing about it is even though it's almost 1,000 cc's and it's incredibly quiet. So if I do start it, it sounds like a sewing machine. Another suggestion I would add, I got this from one of my friends, always add paracord to all your levers because it keeps your hands in place easier.
Oh, I was wondering why you had those on there.
It physically holds your hand on, and the clutch on this is so heavy that it's really hard to hold and your fingers will slide off if you're using it a lot. So that just holds it in place.
I noticed that paracord. I wasn't sure why. Okay, now I know.
Super easy. It's really, really useful and wonderful. On the other side, you'll see where not one but two people, or maybe the same person twice, have laid it down because the other cylinder is scratched and this tank is dented. So it's never been on its side under my care, but someone has in the past laid it down. Another thing that I can't suggest enough, a phone holder, and make sure you get like a nice one that clamps and has some form of shock absorption, because we did have a fatality in September where one of my friend's phones flew off the mount, tinked off the 69 at like 70 and just eviscerated itself.
A phone fatality.
Yes, the phone fatality. The other nice thing that Honda does is, first of all, dual brake rotors in the front, which pretty much every Honda that's larger than like the CBR500 has that. They also float it though. So if you look at the rotor itself and then the mount to the actual wheel, there's a space between it. So if you're really trying to get after it, as the rotor expands and contracts, it floats on that little gap. So that's extremely handy. The radiator, the fan almost never runs. When it does, it is just absurd. It is an absurd amount of heat and you'll feel it out here. These exhausts are kind of a challenge for a couple of reasons. They look good. They're almost impossible to polish. And when you look where the oil filter is, if you ever have to change the oil, when you pull the filter out, it dumps all the oil directly over the center of all four exhaust pipes. All four of them get drowned in oil. So you try to put like tin foil or a rag under there and then pull the filter out. You burn yourself if it's been running in the last hour. Other than that, it's a pretty great design. The oil plug is all the way down there, so it also gets it all over the exhaust. It's not a great experience to change the oil, but we'll get over it. The breather tubes are extremely long on this one too, which is kind of interesting. Same with every other Honda. Add oil, sight glass, nothing special at all. Brakes. The coolant, there's 2 coolant reservoirs, and they're both extremely hard to change. You have to pull the tank off to change the coolant, which isn't hard. The seat comes off in one piece, so the key goes here. This whole seat comes off, and you pull the tank up, and then you drain the coolant, refill it, and then there's another coolant reservoir under this seat that you drain, and then you refill, and it's kind of hard to get like a siphon in there to try to vacuum out the coolant from the overflow. But like I said earlier, it's dead cold, never gets hot. If you do stick your finger in the end of the exhaust, you're gonna have some really bad experiences. So the horse is a safety feature, I think. I add one of those. One of our friends started it, and since then every bike we've ever owned has had a horse on it. The horse's name, I named it Marie Antoinette. The bike itself is a Honda Hornet, so that's why the license plate is Net.
I was wondering about that.
There you go. One thing I would love to do on this, along with the heated hand grips and the LED lights, is the fender delete, because this fender is just ugly. It's not good looking, but I haven't found a good way to mount the plate further up while it's still being visible and with the plate light high enough. So I don't know how that's gonna happen. Also, the directionals are mounted to it. So I haven't found a good fender delete kit yet. This luggage rack itself was an add-on from Honda that didn't come standard with, but you could do it. It's handy because if you look under it, 8 P-clamps from Home Depot hold this wonderful Harbor Freight Apache case on, and I've never had an issue with it coming off. And inside it, you can fit cargo nets, water bottles, towels for when the seat's wet, heated vest, registration, insurance, all that fun stuff.
Nice.
It's great. The other thing that we like when people do is labels. So the fuel tank on this is 5 gallons. It gets about 40 miles a gallon if you're running it nicely. If you're being really mean to it and trying to be really fast, it'll get like 35, but it will very easily get to the bottom end of Phoenix and back. I did Scottsdale and back Saturday, Sunday, and had no issues and had plenty of gas. Not having a fuel gauge is scary. It does have a fuel light that they say comes on when there's 1 gallon left. Every time it comes on and I refill it, I only put 3.5 gallons in it. So I think it comes on at 1.5 gallons to try to keep people safe, but I don't know. That's just a guess. The foot pegs are fantastic. I've never had an issue with these. The last Honda I had really loose foot pegs. And also I like this guard here. Another thing that when they're folded up, it keeps you from like catching your leg on it. So because it's the engine out of the CBR, the amount of torque that it has through the entire power range, which you have useful torque from 2,000 to about 9,000, it devours chains. So it has a new chain, and you kind of always have a spare. It'll go through a chain a season, and it's amazing how often you have to tighten it. Like we just tightened it, and it is still loose.
How about tires? How well do you go through tires?
I haven't gone through tires on this yet because it's new, to me at least. The back tires are brand new when I got them. They'll make it about a season, if that. You use all of them. It's a very nice handling and nice cornering bike, so you will wear them all the way down. So they wear pretty evenly. It doesn't get that one big like flat spot in the back that you see on a lot of other bikes. So
like Harleys that people don't.
Yeah, that you never turn.
Yeah.
It wears very evenly, but they go through tires a lot. So that'll be my next season problem. Other than that, I love it. It's a Honda. It starts when it's 20 degrees or 100. It starts when it was just running. I've never had a problem with it whatsoever. One other nice, I guess, feature I like that most bikes have, but in the early 2000s, it was kind of a luxury item, is this is hinged. So you don't have to set it on the ground and then you just push it back in.
Well, that is a good feature.
Yeah, I like it. Like almost every other bike, the directionals are mounted on a little bendy hinge so that if you do lay it down and those do hit, they bend out of the way instead of snapping off.
Very good.
Other than that, I love it. It's excellent in every possible way. So yeah, I think that's everything.
Well, thank you. And thank you for riding it out here in 30-degree weather.
Multiple layers.
I was thinking of you when I was in that car with the heater on.
Yeah, you just keep adding layers and eventually it'll be fine.